All right, my people, it's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast. And this is your podcast for the week ahead, the week of August 15th, halfway through the month. Let's remind ourselves, where are we? What is it? What is happening this month? What is even happening in August? We have the Star card and the Strength card. So we really want to remember to take good care of our bodies this month. We want to remember to open our hands to receive more this month. The universe, your community, your world is trying to nourish you more, is trying to help you learn to receive more, to let yourself be taken care of more. That's not so easy. Sounds great. Of course, yes, please take care of me. But the actual experience of being taken care of brings up all kinds of vulnerability, all kinds of hypervigilance around whether that's even safe. The archetype we're working with in Mystic Rising this month is the Huntress. And one of the interesting things that we've explored in the shadow discovery around Huntress is that a lot of the shadow aspects of Huntress, so hypervigilance, perfectionism, rigidity, self-reliance, are actually incredibly applauded in our culture, particularly for women. So it's interesting that something as powerful as the Huntress, when that becomes too rigid, it becomes shadow. And so we just want to really remember how important it is that we stay limber, that we stay flexible, that we stay responsive to our environment and responsive to what's needed in a moment. Another thing that's come up with the Huntress exploration, the importance of patience, the importance of lying in wait, as one woman put it, and how comfortable can you get with that? The lioness in you, how comfortable can she get with patiently waiting? That is something we've talked about a little bit before. But the way that these apex predators are incredibly relaxed and limber and soft until they need to move into action. It's just like an interesting metaphor, interesting contemplation point for this month. The card I pulled for us was the Hermit card. I was really surprised to see the Hermit card come up. And it took me a minute to sit with it because the obvious message of the Hermit is to take it easy, baby. Withdraw a little bit. Wrap your cloak around you. Turn inward. Turn into your light, nurturing it, protecting it, as in the lantern, stoking it, making sure that you're giving yourself what you need to feel lit up. So that goes back to that receiving thing, goes back to that sensitivity to what you need, what you think you should need versus what you actually need, and moving with a sense of integrity around what you actually need. The Hermit in August can make sense in terms of pausing, just staying home a little bit more than you would normally do. The Hermit can also speak to us about endings, can speak to us about clarity regarding endings and allowing a cycle to come to completion. And maybe that's coming up for you in some aspect of your life. But the Hermit is the 9 energy, and the 9 is always bringing us to fullness, to completion around something, voluntary completion. So the sense that I recognize that this is done, I recognize that this is complete, and honoring the ending, like honoring the space that requires. It requires something to finish something, to complete something, to bless it and send it off into the world. But what I really thought about as I sat with this card was we are in a Hermit year. So this entire year is a question and a validation around what you're here to really do. What's the path that you're walking that's yours? I just reposted something by David Data, but it's one of his classic questions. Like, what do you need to do before you die? You will regret if you don't do this before you die. And that's not to put panic in you because that's useless. But it is to remind you that your time is finite and that there are things that you can do here that only you can do here. The Hermit year in general is asking us to enter a new chapter, but it's asking us to close out the old one first. So the Hermit is saying to us, look back on these last 9 years. Notice who you are, what's changed for you, what cycles feel like they're closing out, and doing the work necessary to make that a clean transition. The Hermit is just interested in the story that you have to tell and really beginning to dream a new myth, like really beginning to craft a new myth based on what you've done, based on who you've been, based on what you know, based on the stories in your environment and your field, a story that only you can tell. And so the Hermit in this whole year is encouraging us to really honor the light that we shine in the world, honor the path that we are carving into the geography that only we can carve. And the Hermit, if you've heard me say it, is a very protective energy. And the reason that the Hermit goes into solitude or goes into stillness is because there's a protection that needs to come around this space. There's a protection that needs to come around your heart when you're going through deep transition. And there are certain processes or metamorphoses or transitions that require protection, that require coverage, that require the dark, that can happen, in the light of the day. The Hermit is the reminder to honor that, to be brave enough to take what you've learned and who you've become and begin to walk that way, like begin to walk the walk. So why I think it's interesting that this card is coming up, because it came up and when it landed on the table, there was just this sense of like, what are you doing here? It just felt very unexpected. So whatever's happening for you this week, it might turn out to be unexpected. You might not see coming what's coming this week. And it doesn't feel in a bad way. It feels in a, oh, I forgot. Like, what are you doing here? And that's really the way I felt when the Hermit landed, was the sense of, I know you're here with us. I know we're in this Hermit year, and I was still surprised to see you at the party. So there's something about the Hermit landing year that is actually what I said last week, a reminder to check in with yourself. Halfway point of August, 8th month of the year, the month where manifestations really do come alive. What's happening? Where have you been? What does the world look like? How fed are you by what's happening? How clear-eyed are you sitting with what's happening? How patient and compassionate are you being with whatever transition you're moving through? And the Hermit showing up makes me think that this week is a particularly important one. So it might be an important one as in, oh my God, what are you doing here? That kind of energy. Or it might be an important one of, pulling you up a short in terms of, right, wait, I got distracted. Like, I know what I need to focus on. This is what matters to me. Or it might be an abrupt one in terms of really closing the door on something, feeling like, no, if I haven't been clear before, let me be clear now, that door is closed. So there's something about the Hermit coming into our reading this week that just pulls the spotlight in a way that reflects on the entire year. That's going to mean different things for all of us. It's going to have a different impact on all of us. But the energy in general feels very gentle, but very firm. So there's this interesting quality to the air that feels like surprising, but inevitable and important and clarifying and peaceful. Like that's the strongest energy coming from this card, is a quiet the noise energy. Maybe you forgot. Maybe it got noisy and you forgot that you're here to do X or you need to be focused on Y. There's something that comes up this week that just says, hush the noise, turn down the background music, look at this, look at what's here. I'm so curious about this energy because honestly, I've tried to record this like 7 times. That never happens. If I have to take a second take on it on the start, sometimes that happens. But normally I sit down and the messages just come through. This has felt incredibly choppy, and I have the sense this doesn't want to be known. This energy doesn't want to be known. It doesn't really want me to discuss it. It doesn't want me to make a lot of noise around it. It just wants to say, quiet, girl, like quiet. I feel like the more effort I put around trying to put words around this, the more unhelpful that becomes. But I would encourage you to take your Hermit card out. I would encourage you, if you haven't already, because I brought it up last week, to go into your New Year's resolutions, whatever those look like, and check in with that. I would encourage you to notice where your energy is right now and to maybe consider where it needs to get pulled back. One of the great tricks of life is that when we're in something, we really do think we're always going to be in it. And not in an obvious way, because we get anxious and we get nostalgic, but in a like, we really have no sense that life is other than it is. And we can really get seduced by this idea like, oh, life is this way and it will always be this way. This is a 9-year. You are going to not enter the next year the same as you entered this year. We're about to enter the 9th month. So there's this 9 energy of wrap it up that seems to be here. Remember tarot, astrology, all of these mystical tools, they're not meant to make you anxious. So if I say something, or you hear an astrologer say something, or you hear a psychic reading, like if it makes you anxious, it does not belong in your space, period. So the Hermit card, there's nothing about it that's you're gonna miss your moment. It's just a pull focus. Like pull focus. What is pulling your focus away from where your focus needs to be? So curious how this shows up for people in the week ahead. But if you don't have the Hermit card out, take a look at it, meditate on it. Virgo energy is always here with the Hermit. 9 energy is here with the Hermit. What I feel most clearly is this silence, the silence that comes after a loud song. You're jamming in the car and you hear this loud music and all of a sudden the radio goes. There's an abruptness to noise, quiet. And I'm over here, I'm kind of distracted. Oh, right, what are you doing here? I forgot you were coming. So there's something, there's this like right-hand turn in this week ahead, and it's for you. It's for something you're trying to do this year, and let it be. And let yourself be surprised by it. There's something here that the tarot's kind of like, shut up, Kirsten. So whatever's going on, don't be afraid of the right-hand turn, of the silence, of the interaction that's coming. Let yourself be a little bit surprised and awed by it. That feels like it's here. Okay, this is your tarot reader who's being told by the universe to be quiet. I'm going to let you go. So much love to you. Take care. Be good to yourself. Let yourself receive a little more nourishment, a little more rest, a little more space than maybe you normally would.